Great. We'll get started. Good morning and good evening again for people around. So thank you very much for joining with us today. In today's webinar, we're going to discuss the topic, how to supercharge and empower your legacy ERP with AI-driven instant business insights. And we will also be demonstrating how KDAPT, our AI-powered platform, is changing the way organizations utilize their legacy ERP systems. And we hope you'll find this webinar interesting. And we also have a QA session planned at the end of the webinar. And you can also post any questions you might have on the chat channel during this webinar, and our team will be happy to answer those at the end. Thank you very much again. Niveta, you can get started, please.
Yeah, thanks, Abdul. So, hi, I'm Niveta from Karya Technologies. So, I'll be one of your hosts today for this session, who will be doing the presentation. And my colleague Janani will be showcasing you a really interesting demo of how KDAP works. So, officially, again, welcome to our exclusive webinar on empowering your legacy ERP with AI-driven business insights using KDAP. So, KDAP stands for Karya's Data Analytics and Prediction Technology. So, in today's fast-paced business landscape, getting the access to real-time insights is no longer a luxury. So, it's a necessity. And that's where KDAP comes in. So, over the next few minutes, you'll see how this AI-powered BI platform helps business eliminate data silos, reducing the reporting delays, and make quicker decisions. So how does KDAPT do that? So you type a question in KDAPT in plain English or any native language, and it pulls the data from your ERP, strictly from your ERP, and it provides you answer in text, dashboard, or chart. So I just want to add a quick note before I move further into the presentation. So whether you're using any Microsoft systems like Dynamics AX, D365 Business Central, or even third-party platforms, so KDAPT connects to all of the structured data and it enables it to talk. So even with the large amount of data stored in Excel, so if you're more curious on how it fits your particular setup, we'd be happy to schedule a personalized one-on-one demo later, and I will provide the demo details at the end of my presentation and how you can connect with my team. So, but for today's webinar, we will be focusing on showing an example of how KDAPT connects with a legacy system, for example, such as Microsoft Dynamics AX. So let's take a moment to reflect on the current BI challenges that most businesses face today. So for those who are using traditional BI tools or legacy system, so even though the data exists, getting the timely, meaningful insights is still a major struggle, right? So you are always heavily dependent on the IT team or analyst, let's say, just to run basic queries. So the response times are really slow, which results in missing real-time insights. And worst of all is the data is often fragmented across systems, so which result in static dashboards that users barely engage with. So for example, let's assume you're someone in the finance team. So the month-end closure is due, but you need to see the impact of overdue vendor invoices on cash flow. So what you do is you request a report, but the IT team says it will take at least 2 or 3 days to pull and clean the entire data because it's scattered everywhere, or someone who is responsible is out on vacation. I'm just giving an example. So meanwhile, the leadership is asking for the forecast today. So everyone might have come across this situation because it happens more often than it should. So these delays don't just slow you down as an individual, they impact the entire flow of the operation and put your organization at a risk of missed timelines and lost opportunity. So that's where exactly KDAPT comes in and changes the game. So it turns all those reporting struggle into something fast, simple, and user-friendly. So as an individual or someone from the finance team, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to wait for any tech guy or IT or an analyst to get the exact reports. So KDAPT gives you the answer to your question and dashboard like very instantly. So what's KDAPT? It's our AI-powered business intelligence platform that's designed to solve all of those traditional BI challenges that we discussed. I mentioned in the previous slide. So with KDAPT, especially you don't need coding skills or any specialized BI knowledge. So you can interact with your data conversationally by just asking question in plain English or any native language, and you get instantly answers, chart, dashboard, reports strictly from your data that is connected to KDAPT. So KDAPT is built to revolutionize data analytics. So it puts the power in the hands of every business users regarding of the business role or job role. So the five pillars that what makes KDAPT truly the next gen is: number one is native language interaction, like I mentioned earlier. Again, you can just ask a question in plain English or any native language. You get a clear answer and visual right away, strictly from your data, not from your internet. So, number two, automated insight generation. So, KDAPT instantly shows you trends and patterns without anything needing you to do anything manually. And then third one is effortless exploration. So, you can dig in your data and find useful information real quickly and easily. And then fourth one is real-time decision-making capabilities. So instead of reacting later, uh, you get insights in real time. You can act faster without delays that are caused by using the traditional BI methods or traditional BI tools. And then AI-driven visualization. So the complex data is turned into something simple, easy to read, visual, such as dashboard and chart that you see in any traditional BI tools. So this is the introduction of KDAPT. So before we move on to the full-fledged demo of KDAPT, which my colleague Jenny will be walking you through after my presentation, here's a short clip of how KDAPT actually works. So what the user does is they ask a simple question: which items takes the longest in production? And right away, KDAPT comes back with the answer that it's 4 days, and it lists the item that match the question that we asked. So you're not just digging through reports or waiting on anyone. It's like having your own AI powered assistant ready to give you answers the moment you need them. So that's how easy using KDAPT is. So this is the architecture diagram of KDAPT. Let me explain how it works. So the architecture has four key layers. If you see on the right side of the slide, the first one is the data layer. This is where the data lives. This is the foundation. It connects KDAPT to your company's private data system, like your ERP data or CRM. For example, let's take D365 or SAP. And then second one is the semantic layer. So this is the brain that translates your plain English or any native question that you ask it up. For example, like what were last month's sales in New York? And it turns that question into something the system actually understand. So you don't have to know the database language or coding. This layer figures it out for you. And then third one is the agentic layer. So this is where AI tools like OpenAI and Gemini come in. So once your question is understood, so what this layer does is it plans how to find the right answer. It pulls the data and analyzes it smartly and prepares a clear response for you according to the question that you asked. And then fourth one is the representation layer. So this is how the um, answer is shown to you. This is actually what you see on the screen of the UI of KDAPT. So it gives you clear answers in text. And if you need charts or graphs or dashboard, you have a separate button that you can click and you get a dashboard and everything live, and everything is real-time data from your, real-time dashboard from your ERP data. So yeah, this is how KDAPT works. It connects to various data sources like Microsoft SQL Server on the left side, if you see, um, Snowflake, Postgres, or MySQL, and even any external data sources like weather or exchange rates. Yeah, and it processes queries through a conversational interface powered by LLMs. So the results are presented as dashboard, charts, and text, like I mentioned. Because of its modular architecture of KDAPT, it supports all of the key business domains like finance, sales, procurement, inventory management, HR, and any other processes as shown in the left part of the slide. So let's see how KDAPT enhances AX Dynamics 3, Microsoft Dynamics AX across all of the module. So Dynamics AX is mostly used for various business functions, right? So from finance, supply chain, inventory, warehouse management. But the challenge is the data is often stuck inside these AX modules. It's hard to access and even harder to analyze in real time. So KDAP solves that problem by sitting on top of AX and making it easy for anyone to ask question and get answer instantly across like any module. So for example, let's say KDAPT is connected to your Dynamics AX system. So you ask a question to KDAPT, hey, what's our current P&L, profit and loss, or which account have the highest variance this month? So what it does is KDAPT pulls the answer from the data from the general ledger and it provides you with the answer. Or you can ask question like, which customers haven't paid in over 60 days. You can find the overdue invoices by asking this question. And you can quickly track depreciation by asking which assets are fully depreciated this year. So CARAT pulls this answers from the fixed asset data. So you can monitor efficiency by asking which warehouse has the slowest pick rate or how many orders are pending dispatch. And CARAT will pull the data from the table from the warehouse management module and it gives you the answer. So what once took hours with traditional BI tools now just take seconds with CARAT. So um, if you have any questions or clarification, you can type it in the Q&A session or you can speak out. You can unmute your mic and you can speak out after the presentation and demo is done. We will get back to you. So why CADAP should be connected or used with a legacy system, for example, such as Dynamics AX. Number one is its conversational BI. So instead of digging through the traditional reporting in a legacy system like Dynamics AX, like Smart List or requesting a SSRS reports, GetUp lets you ask question in plain English or any native language, like show me the outstanding payables by vendor for this year. And then that's it. You just get the answers in seconds. And then number two, with predictive forecasting model, GetUp helps you spot trends before they happen in future. And then third one is dashboard. So AX reports are, I would say, a little bit static snapshot. So where CADAPT gives you live dashboard from your data. So for example, from cash and flow, P&L, profit and loss statement, sales, inventory. So all in one view, always up to date because all of the dashboard, everything you're seeing is real time. And then fourth one, seamless integration. So you can see how HR attribution is impacting project delivery or even how vendor analysis are affecting cash flow. So KERAP connects the dots across module. It can be integrated with several systems across the organization, something that AX doesn't do out of the box or any other legacy system. And then five, yeah, it's built on a secure and scalable framework. So with enterprise grade protection and role based access, you have the ability to restrict access to data based on the department. So for example, if someone in your company if two people are using CADAPT, because you don't want someone in the warehouse department to see financial data from accounts payable or accounts receivable. So by this role-based access, we can restrict a permission for that specific person from seeing what kind of data they should have visibility to or access to. And then, so this is how KDAPT actually works behind the screen with AX. So think of it this way. AX runs your day-to-day operation like finance, procurement, and managing inventory or other processes that AX is used for across business or companies. And KDAPT steps in as the brain on top. So it analyzes the AX data and deliver answers in just seconds. So how it does that? KDAPT connects to all of the AX module, like I mentioned, like any module, finance, supply chain, inventory project. So you get the complete operational picture in one place in KDAPT when you ask it a question. And then insights. So instead of waiting for monthly reports or building any complex dashboard, so you just ask your question in plain English or native language. I'm implying it again. KDAPT gives you an instant answer in a minute or seconds. And the next one is AI-driven analytics. So it doesn't just show past numbers. It predicts any trends, flags, it flags risk, and it also offers recommendation so you can act early. It also offers any recommendation. It recommends you question from your data. Hey, this is the question that you can ask your data, and you will get answer to that question. And the next one is yes, questions in plain English and native language. So you don't need to know the SQL coding or DAX or use any chunky BI tools. So just by typing questions like, hey, which product line is going faster? So KDAPT understands that question, retrieves the answer strictly from your ERP data or any source of data that's connected to KDAPT, and it responds. It's very simple. So in short, it brings your entire AX environment to life with answers, trends, and insights just at your fingertips. So it saves you a lot of time and cost that you spend for resources. So sorry, let's talk about the outcomes of using KDAPT for legacy system. So efficiency. So KDAPT reduces the time your team spends pulling data, building reports, or waiting on IT or an analyst. So instead of spending hours manually stitching together numbers from the AX data, you can ask simply type any question and you get real-time answers visual in just seconds. So that means less time is spent on reports and more time is spent on decision and other stuff. And then accuracy. So sorry. So manual process often comes with errors, whether it's miskeyed data or outdated reports or any version mismatches. So KDAPT connects directly to the live AX data, meaning that your insights are always accurate, consistent, and up to date and real time. So this minimizes human error and increases confidence in the numbers that you're acting on. And then the third one, cost saving, like I mentioned in the beginning. So by streamlining reporting, you eliminate redundant tools and reducing dependency on developers or BI tool. So KDAPT drives significant cost saving. It helps you identify the area of waste, inefficiency, or overspending in your operation. So which leads to better resource planning and smarter budgeting. And yeah, it helps you save cost. And then scalability. As your business grows, so more data, more users, more complexity, KDAPT also grows too with you. So it's built to scale across business units and geographies. So without requiring any massive rework or reconfiguration. So whether you're in like one location or 20, KDAPT ensures that everyone has access to the single source of data with the reliable insights. So now let's look at some real world example. So because KDAPT is built for everyday questions that leaders or any person that works in a organization ask on a day-to-day basis. So imagine you're a finance head. You want to know what's our Q2 spent versus the budget broken down by department. So with traditional tools, you'll have to wait for report from an IT, like I mentioned, or dig through spreadsheet. But with KDAPT, you just ask the question, and within seconds, you see clear and interactive chart showing the spend, variance, and any trends. So all live from the AX data that is connected to KDAPT or any other data that is connected to KDAPT. You can even drill down into the specific cost, centers, region, or anything. And then now the second example. Now think like you're a supply chain lead. So your top concern might be which items are likely to stock out next month. So instead of relying on outdated stock reports, what KDAPT does is it analyzes the AX inventory table, which is connected to KDAPT, and it with the historical sales pattern and current orders, and it uses predictive analytics to flag the which SKUs are at risk and when. So you can take the preemptive action, notify suppliers, and you can adjust the reorder levels all from a single dashboard using KDAPT. So the last example. So let's say you're in the procurement team. So you need visibility, which vendors are delaying deliveries and how is that affecting your project, right? So KDAPT, when you ask this question to KDAPT, so it pulls this answer straight from AX's purchase order and vendor performance history table. So it shows on time versus late deliveries and vendor scorecards and impact by item or department. So you don't need to using KDAPT, you don't need to chase Excel or cross check email chain. It's all in one place, live and accurate. So thank you, everyone. This wraps up the presentation of KDAPT with Dynamics AX. I'll now hand it over to my colleague Jenny, who will give a demo of how KDAPT actually works. So after the demo, we'll open up for Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Feel free to jump in. We also have one of our KDAPT creator with us today on call. So it's a great chance to get answers directly from the team behind it. And again, I want to thank everyone for joining today's webinar. If you think KDAPT gave you a clearer picture of how to get more out of your data, your company data, we're happy to explore that further. You can visit our website at kdapt.com, or you can send a mail to us at info@kdapt.com. We can schedule a one-on-one demo with us and connect with our team. Thank you.
Hi all, so let's quickly jump into the demo. You have a user credential specific for each user with permission settings in it. We are logged in now, so let me give you a brief explanation of how the basic features of KDAPT look like. This is how the homepage looks like. It is very clean and user-friendly interface. Here comes the dashboard, wherein you can pin all the critical answers visual representation in the form of a bar graph, a pie chart, or a multi-line chart. If you have a query that involves data that could be visualized, click on the chart icon, which will generate an insightful interactive chart so that you can pin it to the dashboard and view it whenever you want it without running the query again. If the data is suited for visualization, then KDAPT will let you know. There will not be any unnecessary clutter. Next is the thread. This is where your conversation begins with KDAPT. Whatever questions you ask will be saved to the thread section and you can access it without rerunning any query. On clicking the "What could I ask" option, KDAPT gives you a set of predetermined questions that you can get answered analyzing your data. Moving on to the knowledge section. This is your in-app guide filled with instructions and helpful prompts to get your answers quickly. In the question SQL pairs section, you can find default pairs already saved. You can edit the existing SQL statements and the question pair in the edit option, or you can add more questions SQL pairs using the add option. You can also customize the way in which you wanted your answers to be displayed in the instructions page. You can either choose the option global for the instructions to be executed in all the queries related to a particular table, or match to specific questions for that question alone. Now let's dive into the heart of KDAPT, the live demo. I'll walk you through a series of real-world questions to show how simple, powerful, and insightful your data conversation can be inside KDAPT. Let's begin with the foundational question. Display the details of vendor group for the USMF entity. Look how KDAPT instantly connects to the AX database, identified the related model. In this case, it's going to be AX DB Vend Group table. It organizes its thoughts according to the question. So here it is going to be the following steps: determining the required columns, followed by filtering the columns which is required to display your answer. And finally, the system generates a SQL statement and fetches the full data set. In case you need technical transparency, click onto the View SQL, where the SQL query used to retrieve the data is available, giving analysts and IT teams full visibility and control of how KDAPT gets you the answers. What you see here is a clean, organized view of all the vendor groups defined within the USMF entity, with all the essential attributes laid out, ready for analysis or action. You can save this result to the knowledge for future use by clicking on Save to Knowledge option. You can have a few recommended questions that are auto-generated by the system that helps you to get complete knowledge on what your data says. Let's build a conversation with KDAPT to see if we get answers. List only 5 vendors and their payment terms in the USMF entity. Did you see how KDAPT interprets the limit of 5 records and understands the need to extract both the vendor names and their payment details? This is a great example of how conversational querying can handle data with filters, limits, and specific fields, all working out without writing even a single line of code. Now, let's get specific. Suppose you want to find out the vendor CN01 belongs to which vendor group. Instead of navigating through the menace of AX database, you can simply ask and KDAPT delivers. Within seconds, you know the vendor group classification, which can be critical for all the approvals, terms, and compliances. Now let's keep building on that. What if we want to see every purchase order linked to the vendor CN001 in the USMF entity? So let's just ask KDAPT. List all the purchase orders created for the vendor CN001 in the USMF company. Look, KDAPT retrieves a clean list of all the purchase orders along with the relevant data like order numbers, dates, and statuses, offering immediate visibility into the procurement activity. Now, shall add some more filter layers to KDAPT. Let's ask for the purchase orders details for 2012 with sum of line quantity for CN001 vendor. KDAPT recognizes the filter for the year, the vendor ID, and the need to aggregate line quantities. You can see how KDAPT can process multi-layered condition querying effortlessly and still return clear results. So far, we had visualized the conversational capabilities of KDAPT. Now let's move on to different modules that are available in AX. How about payments? You can ask KDAPT this way. Please provide details of any pending payments for purchase orders created in the USMF entity. And here we go. KDAPT identifies purchase orders with pending balances, pulls the payment details, and highlights the exceptions. It also displays the vendor code for the user's convenience. This saves the finance team hours of digging through reports and transactional logs. Now let's shift the gears towards sales. How did the sales of top 10 items in the year 2011 perform compared with the year 2012? KDAPT fetches the ranked items list and presents year-over-year comparisons showing whether it is in growth, decline, or a consistent line. You can view the SQL statement that is involved in retrieving the answer. You can even generate a chart from this to visualize the performance over time. Now we have already pinned a bar graph in the dashboard. We can customize the view of the available charts and position them according to the usability. You can also edit the bar graph into a pie chart or a multi-line chart using the edit option. On clicking the save option, you can save the chart to the dashboard and use it for future use. You can use the regenerate option to regenerate the chart in the future in case if you're going to add some more data to the existing table. And finally, we can conclude the demo with a summary view. Give the item that was sold in the most for the year 2011 and 12. I need the item ID, the name, the quantity sold, and the year. Here we go. KDAPT processes the time frame, applies the ranking logic, and retrieves the entire data exactly what we asked for. The top selling item for each year with all the requested attributes are listed below. Here is the most powerful feature of KDAPT. You can save the entire interaction to the knowledge section, making it easy to revisit or share with your entire team later. You can view the SQL statement involved. You can generate a chart from this to visualize the performance over time. When you look at the group bar graph, There is sales only for a particular item in the year 2011 and not in 2012. This is how KDAPT gives you answers analyzing your data. You can edit the bar graph into a pie chart or a multi-line chart using the edit option. So, hope the demo went on well. I would like to conclude it by saying, with KDAPT, business intelligence becomes effortless. No code, no delays, just real-time answers when and wherever needed. Explore more at kdapt.com or get in touch with Karya team to turn your ERP data into a strategic advantage.
Thank you very much, Janani, for the demo. Hope the team found helpful. So now let's open the Q&A session. We're open to answer any questions you might have. Gentlemen, if you have any questions, please let us know. You can post those questions in the chat window, ladies and gentlemen. How is KDAPT different from traditional BI tools? That's an interesting question.
Hi guys. Thank you. So I would be conveying the answers for the questions posted on this chat. So how is KDAPT different from traditional BI tools? So I'm Praveen. I'm from KDAPT technical team. So as you've gone through the presentation, KDAPT is very flexible and it can be deployed in an easy manner based on the presentation. And you could have seen the product demo. It's very simple and easy to use. So the traditional BI tools, when compared to traditional BI tools, why we need to go for KDAPT is like traditional BI tools will have like some like predefined dashboards and queries, and to form that or to deploy that and to use that, you need to have some technical skills or application level skills to use that. Whereas in case of KDAPT, the accessing and using that is like texting to your friend or something. It's very user friendly. That's the main thing. And the second thing is like you need not have highly technical skills to configure those applications and use those applications. So very user friendly, and it gives you your questions will be in the form of a text, and you'll be getting the answers in like a required format where you wanted like a charts or like a graphs for the required questions. Like for example, what is the sale amount for the last year? You can visualize it in a graphical presentation. It's very easy. And also, as we mentioned in our presentation, KDAPT can support multiple database flavors. Sometimes some traditional BI tools, they work only with some particular database. Like for example, if it's with some SQL Server, it cannot go with some other database things. Whereas in case of KDAPT, you can connect with the multiple flavors of database like MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, SQLite. So those are all the flexibility that are available. Hope that answers your questions for that.
Thanks, Praveen. That was a great answer. Do we have any other questions? How secure is KDAPT for enterprise data? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, security is most important factor if you're going for any software or any application that you're going to use. So it's a good question. So security aspects, KDAPT takes care of security aspects on all layers. Like for example, starting from the base infrastructure layer and the application layer, as well as the network layer, and as well as the storage layer. So we take extreme precautionary efforts, like just to make sure it's deployed in a top-notch manner and no compromise on security. As well, the data is going to reside on customers' infrastructure. So definitely customer will have their infrastructure built in a safe and secured manner. And the KDAPT's data is going to reside on customer infrastructure only. Also, we take extreme precautionary effort in architecting the system well. Like not just like if it is in on premises, we just validate whether are there any security gaps and all those things. And from application perspective, we also take care like it's having like enterprise level standards, and you have like a role based level access control in place, and you have single sign-on feature that can be enabled in KDAPT, and it can be integrated with your Active Directory login as well. So single sign-on, it's great for security. Hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Praveen. We have any other questions? How does KDAPT integrate?
How does KDAPT integrate with legacy systems? So the question has like legacy systems. So KDAPT is very flexible. As I said, it connects with multiple flavors of database. So integrating to any of the required database is pretty easy, and it is achieved with the regular API approaches and the connectors, and that's more on that integration perspective. And there is a dedicated integration and modeling team that involves that would validate the as is application that needs to be integrated, and we would recommend like what are all the things that are to be connected and integrated, rather than connecting to your live data and affecting the performance of the live system. So we work with customers application team to narrow down to what is exactly needed with a dedicated modeling team, and take care of the integration perspective.
Great, thanks, Praveen. Let's see if we have any other questions. All right, I think we do not have any other questions. So we're 10 minutes early. And thanks again for everyone to join this webinar today. We will share the recording with each of you so that you can review those, and we'll also share some additional materials for the KDAPT platform and also the website links for you to learn more about. You can also contact us if you have any questions. We'll put the contact email in the chat. So to get in touch with us for any additional information that you might need. We hope you find this webinar insightful, and look forward to connect with everyone shortly. And we all have a very good day, evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining the call again. Bye.
Thank you.